Welcome to Ina Jennings Pantry, home of the 3Ds. In today's video, I'm making you meat pies. Yes, long-awaited meat pies. So all I have today is 2 potatoes, whole onions, 1 carrot, and rotisserie chicken. I know you would say, why rotisserie chicken? I'll explain. So I already washed the carrot. I went ahead and peeled it up. And then peel the potatoes as well. People have different ways. Back home, we just use a knife and peel it, which takes more of the meat off. I don't like that. So I have 2 ways of making my potatoes for my filling for the meat pie. You can do it this way. That's the way I learned how to do it when I was little. And actually, for a while before I decided, you know what, I don't care to have cubed potatoes in my food. So that's one way that I do it. All right. It's just in cubes. So when I normally do catering, that's a lot, right? That's if I have to do catering for 50 people or even 20 people, that's a lot of potatoes. I just take my grater and just grate the potatoes. It's faster. I use this grater, or I use my other one that you've seen me turn right there. It comes out really nice. It's not too thick. It's just shredded really nicely. You can do that too. If you want it nice and cute with just cubes, you can do that as well, or you can chop it. It all depends on you. All right. So put that in a clean bowl so you can wash it. Take most of the starch off the potatoes. I thought about just doing everything before and just show you what I've done. But it makes sense to show you how I dice it or how I shred it, so it's easier for you to watch the video and make it yourself step by step. So here's the onions. I had 2 halves from something else I cooked previously. This one you have to dice, all right? I know that, you know what? I wish I could have like some folks I could do affiliate marketing for where I can chop my onions better. That would be nice. I need some gadgets. I would like to review and promote some lovely kitchen gadgets. I love kitchen gadgets. All right, so I do the same thing for the carrot. Again, when I was little, we chopped everything. It takes so much time to chop the onions, to chop the the potatoes, chop the carrot. It takes too much time. So when you grate it, it actually cooks faster and it's thinner than when you chop it. That's just my own theory. Just one carrot. All right. So that's the washed potatoes right there. I put half chopped onions in there. And then I leave the other half. So that's what it looks like. I took it off too fast, so I brought it back so you can see how beautiful it looks. The color of the potatoes and the purple onions, so beautiful. All right. So I put enough water to kind of level up with the potatoes, because right now it's shredded, so it's thin. You don't want it to cook too much. So that's curry powder, a teaspoon. I use my son's spoon to measure it. So that's rosemary. It makes it smell really nice. It already smells good. Like a little pinch of rosemary. I don't know what that measurement is, but I will give you an estimate in the description. I put like a little pinch of salt. This Scotch bonnet powder is so amazing. So here I put a whole teaspoon. You already know. I mean, you don't have to. That's optional. All my spices are optional. You can put what you want. And then, of course, my favorite spices, my chicken bouillon powder. So I put 2 of that, which would be like a teaspoon, a whole teaspoon for that. And I mix it up. I already put that in the potato. So while that's cooking, I just went ahead and cleared off my chopping board from the onions and the carrot. And I will tell you when to put that, okay? And here, guess what else I put? It's meat pie, right? So in my fridge, I had some hot dogs left. So I normally buy the 3-pack hot dog from Costco, and in one of the 3 packs, I only had this 3 left. And I felt like they were lonely in the pack, so let me use them for something. So I thought about sticking them in a meat pie. It's called meat pie. Nobody says it must be pork or beef or anything. It's meat pie, right? Just like veggie pie. Nobody has any specification how you do your veggie pie. And I love this rotisserie chicken. You can see me make so many things with it. I always have them in the freezer or in the fridge. So I just tore them from the bone and just chopped them up. That way it has the same size as the hot dog. So this is already cooked. The hot dog is already cooked. I put the potato on low, and it was cooking for about 5 minutes on medium heat. And I didn't add additional salt. I stir that up, and then I put the onions and the carrot last. Stir it up and let it simmer for like another 15 to 20 seconds, and it's done. Remember, we're going to put this back in the oven for it to cook with the dough. So you don't want to overcook it right there. So you still have... And guess what? Another thing that I do, because the potato is starchy, right? And I took some off, and I put flour to kind of bring the whole filling together. It's not a secret. It's just one of those things. I think you do that for chicken pot pie too. So now I start with the crust. I put 4 cups of flour in a clean bowl. And now I found my teaspoon. So I put like 1 teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of this is a half teaspoon, I'm sorry. So you put 1 teaspoon of salt in the entire, you can put half, you can put but it just gives it I do my crust different ways. And then now I put half a teaspoon and a quarter teaspoon of baking powder in the and that's it. And you just use a fork to make sure you stir it really good. This is gonna be so much. I imagine my recipes before I make them. So I have 2 sticks of butter here, and I use all vegetable shortening. I use that if I don't have any butter. I use them together or by themselves. It doesn't really matter. So I shred the butter. It's easier to shred your butter instead of... I'm not against chopping anything. I just like to shred. Look at how it looks. It's easier, it's flatter, it's thinner, right? And that's the last of my vegetable shortening. So I can say, see, I didn't use the other stick of butter. So I used 1 stick of butter, and I would say like a quarter cup or I think that's half a cup of vegetable shortening. Because I want this crust to be really flaky. And some of the butters that we buy have water in them. And when you're making your crust in the oven, you still want to have some clumps of butter, and it melts in the oven, and that's what makes your crust flaky. See, I gave you all my secret. So before I start my crust, I always have a cup of water with ice in it. That way it cools enough for me. And the amount of water you put depends on how crusty you want to make it. So of course, when you mix the butter and the flour, when you know you're ready is when you clump them up together. When you clump the flour and the butter mixture together, it stays as a ball, not like a perfect ball, right? So I mix the water and everything. Look, that's how it looks. And guess what I do? I put that in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes while I get my egg ready, my flour to knead ready, and get my forks and spoons and stuff. So of course you get a clean surface, right? And you could cut this, or you could just pinch how many balls that you want. So 4 cups of flour makes about a dozen. Depends on how big you want it, okay? So I made about 20 meat pies that was gone in 3 hours. All right. Here you go. So that's the bowl of the filling, and that's just 1 egg. You can use 2 eggs if you want to. I always have one egg until I run out, then I can break another one because I hate not knowing what to do with the egg after I have some leftovers. And that's the flour that I use to pour on the flour on the surface. And my rolling pin, his name is Edward. He rolls really good. So you have a fork. Always have a fork, a knife, a spoon to dish the filling, right? And you have the egg and you have a brush. And if you want a nice shape to make it all even and cute and nice, I use my Nesquik strawberry lid for this. So I if you want to know the size, you can bend it in half and you know what size of meat pie you're gonna have. All right, let's get started. So I take a ball, I flour my rolling pin, roll it out, roll it out, roll it out. And you roll it out until when you lift it up, the dough feels light. That's when you know it's ready, right? See, right there. It feels really light, okay? I don't have to smack it that way. Some gestures that I do, I just really wonder why I do them, right? Oh my goodness. So it's thin enough right now, all right? So I use my little lid to make my perfect little cute circle. Scrape the remnants off a little bit and you have your perfect little cute circle. So now you start your filling. And I use the egg white to just kind of baste the outside, the ends of the pie, because then when you close it to make an envelope, it closes even better. I mean, you don't have to. Some people use water. I just use egg white. It's worked for me ever since. So in filling this, you have to eyeball it, right? Because you don't want to put too much filling. So I'll say 2 of that little spoons in there. It should, for the size of meat pie that I'm making. So when you close it, you just tap it to close it a little bit. I think that's excess filling. And you just use the fork to close it. You use the fork to crimp it. I think it's called crimping. I say use the fork to fork it. Fork it closed or crimp it. And then you make the little holes in front just to let the air out while it's cooking. Look at that beautiful, cute, amazing chicken and hot dog meat pie. I just call it meat pie, okay? That way you just know. And right there, I have 10 lovely meat pies. So you just use the egg to baste the entire surface of the meat pie. And the reason why you do this, it gives it a nice, golden, beautiful outlook. And then it also helps to know when it's done. If it's too brown, it's burnt. If it's lightly brown, it's very well cooked. That's just my 2 cents on how you know your meat pie is done. So I put it in the oven for about 30 minutes or until the top is light brown. Okay? Again, it's meat pie. You can make fish pie the same way. You can make veggie pies the same way. Hey, who said it must be a certain way? Who said it must be ground beef? Who said it must be, you know what I'm thinking? Now I'm thinking about it. I could easily make turkey pie. Turkey pie, pork pie, that would really come out great. So I put this in the 350 oven. And voila. The magic of technology. Look at that. Look at how beautiful it is. Look at how golden it is. Cute, perfect pie. The back is really nice. It looks flaky. I burnt my hand doing that. There it is. 10 beautiful, well-stuffed, flaky. I mean, you should be here to smell it. You should be here to just get your Coke, your Fanta, your soda, your tea. Here it is. There's a basket of meat pies. So incredible. See the cracks at the top? That's when you have enough butter and it's flaky, and also the baking powder too. It's almost like you're supposed to let loose. Let loose. I can be so silly. So here's the meat pie. It looks beautiful, it's tasty, flaky. and you just cannot have it any other way. You can make beef with this, just replace what I did with ground beef. So I cut it open, and here's what you see. So break it apart. Here you go. Watch this. That's extra egg. Watch this. Amazing. Look at that. It's still hot, piping hot from the oven. You just have enough. You don't want to overstuff it. You just have enough filling. That's the potatoes there. I can see the potatoes. I can see the carrot. I can see some chicken. Look at that. It looks beautiful. You know it's very flaky. And you know you want some. Come get some. Come get some. There it is. It's burning my hand. Don't let the calmness not fool you. Whew. So there you have it. Beautiful, flaky, delicious meat pie from Ina Jenny's pantry. I love doing this stuff. I love thinking of recipes right out the bat, just with what I have in my pantry or my fridge or my freezer. So happy to bring you this recipe. You can see the hot dog in there as well. And I appreciate you for always supporting me. Thank you. Share, subscribe, and like. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Be safe.